and or welcome back. This is episode, whatever. This is number 4 out of 23 in the Project MJ23 series book, and it is called Practicing Threes. The focal point is the AJ3, Air Jordan 3. Came out in 1988, and I'm going to talk about it. But first, run the intro. From 2014 to 2017, I made these. I then turned it into this. But for 8 years, I didn't do anything about it. Until now. Good, great, grand. Everybody on the bus. Yeah, so what can be said about the Air Jordan 3s? A lot. They came out in 1988, and it was the debut of Tinker Hatfield doing Air Jordans. He's famous for working at Nike. He did Jordans from the 3s all the way to the 15s, but this was his first one. Oops. Whatever. Made famous for being the first one with the Jumpman logo, having elephant print, the air bubble, air sole thing that you could see. And basically, it said that this shoe was the one, like, it kept Jordan around with Nike. He was a little bit discontent. This shoe came out, he loved it, and the rest is history. He stuck around. It's probably a good move for everybody. What's significant about this for me in this book, in this painting, and why I call it threes, practicing threes, is because Jordan's highly criticized by his haters for not being a good three-point shooter. But let's rewind that. The guy came into the league from college where at that time there wasn't even a three-point line. So he's not shooting those. He's attacking the rim. He's dunking on people. What do you want from the guy? It's only like 1979 that the NBA even put in a three-point line. Nowadays teams are bombing 30, 40 threes a game. But back then, a team was barely shooting 3. If you look at Larry Bird's early 80s stats, the guy averaged like one attempt, one three-pointer a game. That's the Birdman we're talking about, So it's a different era. But what I'm talking about in this poem that I'll read is the fact that over time, his three-point percentages, his three-point accuracies, three-point abilities, and the three-point threat grew and got better. It was considered one of his weaknesses, and he got better at it. And people will say, "Oh, he shot 32.7% for his career from downtown," which isn't far off from Kobe, LeBron, other people. But what they don't mention, the haters don't mention, is his numbers went up as soon as he got in the playoffs. So he shot 32.7 for his career, but as soon as the playoffs started, that went up to 33.2. Guess what happened in the finals? Kicked up to 36.8. Oh, okay. Caveat, right? Some people will say, hey, do you remember that from 94 to 97, the NBA brought in the three-point line? I don't know if you were even alive back then or if you're old enough to remember this stuff. But for 3-4 years, they brought in the three-point line to try to make teams shoot more. So they'll say, well, his numbers went up because of that. Wrong. If you discount those years and only count the finals shooting that he had that didn't include 94 to 97. I know he's retired in there, but 40%, 40.9 or something from beyond the arc. Like, come on, you know. Yeah, so for me, one of my favorite memories is like a lot of people, is game one against Portland in the finals, where he hits 6 threes in the first half, sets a record, right? And it's iconic. It does the double shrug. And you may or may not remember that it was like a slight by Clyde Drexler, who before that said, yeah, he's just not as good as me as threes, right? So you give this guy some fuel and he's going to fucking burn you like a dragon, right? So that was a mistake by Drexler. And even Jordan, you know, chooses his words. He's like, yeah, he may be a better three-point shooter than I choose to be, you know? And then he comes out and fucking blasts him. What a game. I was actually watching a semi-professional league coming to its end from like a room with a TV while that game was on the TV. I was like, oh my God, I'll never forget that. I was 11 years old. So anyways, the point is, he got better as time went on with his range and his three-point game. So, I'm going to read this. I want you to see that the shoe, the red sort of horn of the shoe is positioned like it's shooting this fireball, which is like the planet here, into this faraway basket right there. So that's essentially Jordan in metaphorical terms. And this is the last of the 4 shoe-only paintings that I have done in this book. So from here on out, it will have MJ in it. Painting 4 of 23. Threes practicing threes. When the gods bestow upon thee the gift of flight, any unperfected skills left to improve, you must expedite. Don't get it twisted. If you can jump out the gym, by all means, posterize. But Father Time watches basketball too, so to ignore the inevitable would be unwise. No one avoids aging or losing a step, not even the dogs on top. You might be an all-NBA defender, but the hands of time you can't stop. Make note the red heel tab positioning of the Jordan 3 shoe. It has not one significant reason for being angled, but 2. Envision a tilted horned goat about to charge his head through the frame. That's the young, explosive MJ using athleticism to dominate the game. See the fiery yellow ball being flung off the horn like it's a highlight balada? That's older Mike, adding range to his jumper, stooging defenders like, why I oughta. A request to hold the title, rewind. A requisite to hold the title greatest of all time, GOAT, is a superior all-around game. It takes more than speed, agility, and hang time for a place in the Hall of Fame. So while young MJ attacked the rim more often than he scored from afar, the entire time he was practicing adding a downtown threat to his repertoire. And as I mentioned in previous videos, there's stuff in the text with color and movement and stuff, and I'll show that on the screen. And yeah, this was an important one. There was some really abstract and architectural stuff going on here too, and so that kind of touches on my older style of painting, which I'll put more into the later paintings as well. Yeah, 1988. I mean, it changed a lot. It was, that shoe came out, saved him with Nike, saved him with the Air Jordan concept. He goes on to win the dunk contest in those shoes. But his three-point percentage also basically doubled that year. So he was coming off that ankle injury, which really scared people in his second year. Coming back, you could tell he was adding this to his game, Shooting percentage basically doubled. And, to do that in the same year, you go on and win the dunk contest in the same shoes, right? That is the first year he won the MVP. So, yeah, 88 was significant. Still a ways away from a title, though. We'll talk more about that in the coming episodes. Oh, yeah. Links and stuff in the description and belows.